You ever wanted a job so bad and you found out you have to do a group interview or maybe a Zoom interview and you didn't get it and you feel so rejected and dejected or whatever the case may be, you feel sad that you did not ace this interview. Well, I'm here to tell you, for me, every disappointment is a blessing. Maybe that wasn't for you. Never know what the Zoom recruiter or CEO or nurse administrator going to. I often think that, what are they looking for? Is it to see my face, to see how? Because I come to the interview business casual, even though it's in my house. I don't have a robe on. I don't have my hair in certain way that would reject me from the job. So I'm often confused why I don't get the job. And I'm trying to be as transparent to you. I'm being honest. When it comes to group, going into the facility and being interviewed as a group with a different human resource, nurse manager, nurse supervisor, maybe another nurse, I still don't get those jobs. Or maybe I'm calling for a second interview. So I want to talk about it. But before I continue, thank you for your support, my old subscriber. And if you're new to my channel, we talked about issues in nursing in a very honest way. I may not have a lot of subscriber because I don't fluff, I don't fake it. I tell you the truth. Things in my experience as a nurse that happened to me. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and also helps me. So I'm asking, could you please, I'm begging for likes, because if I don't get any likes, then I cannot continue, because YouTube think I'm giving the wrong information to you, or you're not learning anything from me. It's irrelevant what I'm saying. So I'm begging you, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment. Let me go further in the algorithm. So hit the like button twice. Make sure it says all. That way, when I do post a video, you'll be the first to know. And if my channel is not for you, then it's okay. You can move on. Thank you. But I love to have you. Anyway, so lately, since I came in the state of Georgia, I noticed that they do a lot of, and let me backtrack. I really want to work in Georgia. I do. I don't want to be a travel nurse all over the state. I find it easy to be a travel nurse because, number one, Georgia slow walk everything. You go on the interview, you have to wait 2 or 3 months before you get the job. By then, it's out of the range for me. I just move on and I end up being a travel nurse again. Every time I tried, I said, I'm going to give Georgia a chance, but it don't work. And then I noticed that maybe it's a southern thing, that they have to put you in a room, a big long table, and it's like 10 people and they just shooting questions at you. I'm not good at getting those jobs. And I could feel it that I wasn't going to get the job. Whereas up north, and specifically in Philadelphia or Jersey where I had lived previously, I could walk into a facility. Sometimes you could walk in and they'll see you, the nurse, DON they call it, director of nursing. Sometime you walk in, human resource see you. Sometime you make an appointment. But believe it or not, you're not going to walk out. You're going to get a yes or a no. It's not going to be several people. It's going to be one person interviewing you. And I like that. It seems more comfortable for me because that's all I've been doing. So here I am in Georgia. I went on a Zoom interview recently, and I can't say it's my color why I didn't get the job. It was an African American. She said she was CFO and she was just shooting these questions, hundreds and hundreds of questions. And I'm not like, I was watching a YouTuber. He's a nurse, and he said he prepped for his interview. He write down question, and he kind of questioned himself what he's going to say. I don't do all that. Maybe I would have gotten the job because I aced the interview. But I started to feel like, is it more important that I ace the interview and then get on the job and can't be productive? Are they looking for nurses that can just be pulling those questions? I answer the question based on my ability and my experience, but that wasn't enough. I didn't get the job. But I didn't get down like most people. I've decided that it was a reason why I was stopped from not getting the job. I might have gone there and realized it's not for me. So I wanted to come out here and say, don't get discouraged. When one door closes, remember there is many, many, many more doors open for you. If you think that way, you will get ahead and you won't ever get discouraged. I realized long time ago, don't get desperate. Don't let them see you desperate. You may need the job, but don't let them know that. No. So, I didn't get the job, and I also found out I went on a second job. And I made an appointment, and I went in, and I was there on time, and it was like 6 Caucasian and 1 African American. And I think when I walk in there, maybe it's me. I said, I'm not getting that job. I just had this feeling, sometimes you have this feeling. The African American didn't ask any question. She was just sitting back. Caucasian, asked me. It was up in Forsyth. I don't know why I went all the way out there in past Macon area. If you know about Forsyth, I don't know, but I didn't get the job. I was qualified. I felt I was qualified, but I don't know. I answered the question. I think I did good, and when I was confident and I felt good about it, but I didn't get it, which was okay. It's kind of far anyway. That's what I want you to think that way. And I move on. I don't let it linger. So I went home. Then I got a call like 2 days after from that same job. Do you mind come in for a second interview? And I thought about that. And I said, I'll call you back. See, I don't do second interview. If you did not decide that you want to hire me, what makes you think you're going to give me another chance? Is that what it is? You're going to give me another chance and then I'm going to be acting desperate and want that job? So I deny it. I deny it because I don't really like second interview. Because I feel like they are desperate. They're the one that's desperate now. They know they need a nurse. And one walk in the door, the one that they wanted, probably turn it down. And now they want to give me a second chance. So I just deny it. That's my take on it. I want you to not get discouraged. Because it can make you feel, especially if you're a new nurse, your self-esteem might feel shattered because you didn't get the job. Don't worry about that. You know, you always have hope. You always believe in your ability, and you have to stand your ground. Somebody told me that a long time. Don't get desperate. Don't get discouraged. There is another door open for you. And I may have to sit home for 6 months. Doesn't mean that I don't want to work, because they're going to ask you, well, what have you been doing? I've been looking, whatever. You will get a job. You will get a job. The questions that they ask in the interview is, tell me a little bit about yourself. And you have to be very careful about how you answer those questions, because sometimes they want to hear you say negative about yourself, or they really don't really want to hear about you. They want to hear about your skills. And I learned a lot from a YouTuber, the company expert. He go over to his channel. He has some good things about how to pass the interview. So I'm learning. And also they ask, what kind of salary you want? I never answer those questions, because I always say I'm open, because I want to hear them tell me the salary first. I don't want to discuss money. You don't never discuss money with them, because they're going to say that's too high, whatever. A friend of mine told me that, she felt like she was getting older, and she felt a little like the older nurses, it's difficult for us to get jobs. I agree with her to a point. I think what happened is I don't think they see you as older nurse or experienced. I would put it as experienced nurse. They don't want to pay you that maximum rates based on your experience. They want to give you the same as the nurse that's just coming in, the $18, the $20, the $25. Maybe it's a little bit more now. That's what they want you to take. And a lot of experienced nurses felt like, no, I don't think we should. But that's what the facility wants. And if you're not complying with them, and what I do tell them, I'll be honest, if I have a phone interview now, which I've tell several, recruiters or hospital that call me, I really don't want to waste your time. And I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste my time either. Now, that may sound like I shouldn't have said that. It was fine when I said it up north, but maybe in the South, it's all about respect. They're so thick on that they don't want to understand your feeling. I don't want to come there and then you tell me $20, because to be honest, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to stay. I'm not desperate yet, I should say. That when I'm on the phone, back in the days when I started traveling nurse, and it still happened, the nurse manager give you a call from whatever state. She find time in her schedule and she call you and talk to you, tell you about the position and whatever. It's either yes or no. If you say yes, then they invite you to come into their hospital. So I'm okay with that. One day I'm gonna fake it. See if maybe if I fake it, what they want. They want someone that's going to say, oh, yeah, I did that, and I accomplished this, and I'm working with this. And tell me a time when you felt like, I'll tell you one of the questions. Tell me a time that you did something for the corporation or something like to that effect. And I'll be honest, I'm a travel nurse, or change and affect the hospital. I don't have those kind of rights. And so it was kind of confusing for me to answer, how did I make an impact in the hospital? They don't even listen to us as a travel nurse. So it was hard for me to answer that one. Yes, it was. I reflect on my time as a psych nurse, as a rehab nurse, as a correctional. Tell me a time when you know your weaknesses. Never say your weakness. What is your strength? I think one of the questions was, how are you with pressure? I'm usually the calm one, believe it or not. That's what I told them. I guess that wasn't right either. I am a team player. I told them that. That wasn't right. Maybe. I'm not going to sit here evaluate it, and you don't sit there and evaluate. Do the best you can. And if you don't get the job, hooray, another one will come. What I realized that when I was going on interviews in the state of Georgia, they look at your resume, and when you're a travel nurse, and I applied for rehab, I applied for maybe med surge and psych. And a nurse told me, you gotta, whatever position you want, you just rearrange your resume to fit that position. But up north, they can look at your resume and see that, oh, you worked at Temple University, you worked at Stanford, you may do psych at Stanford, but you at some point, you were on the step down unit at Temple University. You work at all these major hospital. You gotta have some critical thinking skill, some form of skill. Travel nurses has to go into the facility and act like they have been there for years as an employee. So why would you refuse those nurses and over a nurse that fluff or just came on board and did not last for you? I think if I was a recruiter for the facility, I would choose the travel nurse. I'm not saying that because I'm one. I just feel like all the backgrounds, all the positions, all the hospital, the critical, they had to go in and do and act. They float them all over. They float us all over. You had to have some skill to keep that travel assignment for 13 weeks. So Georgia just, I don't even want to say it. So that's how I felt. Like they were disowning that, discounting my skills based on it didn't fluffed up like, oh, I'm coming in here for this position. It didn't say I've been working in this position for so long. Yeah, I worked those positions and I probably can go back into med surg if that's what I want, but I choose not to. I may have psych, but I went to medical psych at some point. So they don't take all those skills. They discount it. That's what I want to say. They discount it. And I think that if I was a recruiter, I would look at all those things and the skills over the years that this nurse, because I have kind of chopped some of the resume down, trying to bring it down a little because it's too much. I don't know what they're looking for, honey. I just keep it moving. What I didn't tell you is I just don't want you to discourage because my friend got the job. She was able to ace it. And left in 1 week. So I want to know how to ace. If anybody knows, just let me know how to ace these interviews because it doesn't matter. You're not going to stay. So I prove my point. The person who probably would have stayed, which is me, Because I went through all that trouble for a week and then leave. It must be that bad. And on top of that, not only did she left the job in 1 week, this is my friend now, so I'm talking somebody I know. She aced the interview. And she said, Patrice, you lucky you didn't get there. Because I'm on my way out. I called her. I said, where you at? Why you home? She said, I left. I quit. And she gave me some other information. She said, you know that person that on the Zoom interview with you, that introduced you, that CFO, CNO, whatever, they walked her out the door. Out the door. See you. Wouldn't want to be you. Hire all her friends. That's the thing about Georgia. Friends and family will get the job and get the more pay than you. That's just a little tip for you. So I go by, I'm trying to say that whenever something you meeting a resistant, you don't get the job, do not feel discouraged. It's not about you. You have to do what you're comfortable with. I'm not comfortable. I like that personal one-to-one interview. I don't like a lot of people, they just shoot and some don't, I don't know. What is your take? What type of interview style do you like? And give me some secrets so I could pass those interviews. At least get some orientation. If you like this channel, please give me a like. I'm begging for likes. Have a wonderful day or night in your state or your country. Peace out.